Good afternoon, Southlanders, or as my one friend insists on calling you, Deciderlanders. It's not an insult, it's just he doesn't, it's the name that kind of sticks in his head. He decided long ago that it was Deciderlanders. And, well, not an insult, but he doesn't do it maliciously or facetiously. Anyway, what did I want to tell you? Oh, that's right. I've just gotten off the phone to now. One of the shareholders, one of the owners of the largest importer of solar gear in South Africa. And he's a guy I've known for years, a childhood friend, 40 or 41 years. And he said to me that, he always makes the point, we're not the biggest importer of solar panels, but we are certainly the biggest importer of the whole basket. He always calls it the basket of solar panels, solar batteries, solar inverters, connectors, and specialized cabling, and so on, put together. And he reckons that their company is running at 150% capacity minimum to keep up with the demand for solar power in South Africa now, due to the concerns that people have for what is occurring in the country. I think it's safe to put it this way. I think we're on pretty safe ground, sure ground, when or if we say that in the past, since 2008, about 2 years prior to the World Cup of Football, when we had the first rolling blackouts and when people began to question whether we could successfully stage the FIFA World Cup in 2010, in about 18 or 20 months, whatever it was, from that point in time. Since then, the majority of people have seen solar as a good backup, a good supplement, even a good complement, to use the two mathematical words, to solar. But that it wasn't an absolute necessity, in the sense that no matter how bad it was, it would likely be okay in a month or 6 weeks' time. And the solar, particularly the battery aspect of it, being as expensive as it is, wasn't justified by its benefits. But it seems as if now many people are beginning to perceive that the Eskom thing is likely to be indefinite or interminable, and that it is likely to deteriorate, and that a wise man will put in solar now, even if it's perhaps more expensive than its benefits, as it were, that the cost-benefit ratio is not what one would hope it to be, particularly a businessman. This morning, Times Live reported that over the weekend, of 17 power stations, only one had all of its units running. The other 16 had units out either for planned maintenance or unplanned maintenance. 1 out of 17 is about 6%. Almost precisely 6%. Only 6% of South Africa's power stations were able to run at full capacity over a weekend, when most of them should have been doing so. In other words, if you know that you're going to have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 power stations with units, with a unit each or with multiple units inoperable for whatever reason over the weekend, then you would want to ensure that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, would most certainly be online to make up for the shortfall. So there's no question, nobody can say, well, it was, they knew, and I don't think it works like that. And that power station is 60 years old. 60. Power station in the northeast, Nelspruit, Komatipoort area. And I think it's safe to say that if we, in a dispassionate manner, in other words, without too much emotion, without too much ranting and raving, without too much criticism of the government, if we, in a logical, rational, objective, dispassionate manner, examine some of the forecasts that are being made at the moment by guys like Ted Blom and Chris Yelland and others, regardless of the fact that some of them are being made with a healthy dose of histrionics, melodrama, it seems safe to say that nevertheless, even if they're exaggerating by 100%, and therefore only 50% of what they're saying is absolutely true, we're in for a rough ride over the next however long. There will be good days and there will be bad days. There will be worse years and there will be better years, but on average, it's going to be rough. We're going to hanker for, we're going to yearn for, we're going to pine for. I don't know, the 2000 teens, let's say. My friend of many years reckons that there's an enormous influx of new players in the market. And I said to him, is it affecting your business? And he said, no, on the contrary, it's good that they're there because they, that's to say his company, obviously has limited access to capital. There's only so much capital that you can raise before overextending yourself. And he said they cannot adequately supply the market no matter how hard they try and no matter how hard they expand. And he said they've expanded at over 40% a year for the past 5 years. Every year, over 40%. And he said this year it looks like it's going to be the greatest of all of those years, the greatest expansion. And he said even so, we can't expand fast enough to cater to the market. So he said if there was limited competition, then the market would to some extent be stillborn. The market would never ever in South Africa reach its full potential. It would become a failed thing. And so he said it's good that all of these other guys come in and that they supply the market with ultimately with fresh capital. So guys raise capital from wheresoever, and they come in with that fresh capital to create greater capacity. And he also said that it's having no influence on their business whatsoever. As I've already explained to you, they're still expanding, as he put it, at over 40%. As I said, it's not detrimental to us. And that just goes to show you the extent to which the South African market believes that there is a crisis of the first class. In fact, I was chatting to Andre Goosen of the Onderleiers Raad, and very prominent leader in the Western Cape. On Saturday night, he was up here in Van der Kloof, and I mentioned to him that we had produced a video on the flight of dollar millionaires from South Africa, and I asked him if he'd seen it. He said, no, I didn't see it. I don't know why he didn't see it, but in any case, he hadn't watched it. And I made the point to him, Andre Goosen, that it's an international organization that specializes in monitoring immigration and the capital flows that move with that immigration, demonstrated with facts, figures, data, statistics. Hulle het hulle storie agter mekaar gehad. that in the year 2020, which was a year in which we could hardly travel, almost 10% of South Africa's dollar millionaires immigrated. That is to say, people with 15 net is the point, net 15 million rand or more immigrated in a year in which nobody could travel. So clearly the best and the brightest and the fittest and the strongest and the sharpest and the most successful and the most capable people are perceiving an enormous threat in this country. When you consider how many of South Africa's millionaires, whether it's 10% dollar millionaires, 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, are black and therefore far less likely to permanently emigrate, the proportion of white net dollar millionaires, or dollar net millionaires, however you say it, that is emigrating is far greater than 10%. It may be as high as, sorry, not 10%, it's 9 point something. It's far double, it might be close to double that. 15%, 16, 17, I don't know. It's phenomenal. Excuse me, I beg your pardon. It's phenomenal. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. I thought it was quite interesting reading the Times Live article of this morning and then chatting to my childhood chummy about what he's seeing. Noteworthy, guys, noteworthy. The rich and powerful are panicking. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please press the like button, the thumbs up button. It's good for us. Take very good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.